In this video, we'll explore the web UI of the WaveCAST 8. The interface is largely the same on single-channel WaveCAST units, except that it supports multiple channels and is exclusively multicast. The front panel of the WaveCAST server provides easy access to basic settings like audio source and audio input gain level for quick configuration. For more complex adjustments, however, you'll need to use the web UI. To access the web interface, simply connect a PC to the same network, open a browser like Chrome, and enter the displayed IP address. The default login credentials for the unit are both admin in lowercase. To begin, please familiarize yourself with the 5 tabs located on the top of the browser: Main Settings, Options, Upload Image, Server Settings, and Admin. Main Settings tab. What sets the WaveCAST 8 apart from our other WaveCAST products is its capability to handle 8 channels compared to just a single channel in the others. To modify individual channels, simply select the channel you wish to adjust from the upper right-hand corner drop-down. In this demonstration, we'll begin with channel 1. Beneath the channel selectors, there is a meter that displays the signal entering the unit. This meter can indicate either an analog or Dante input. Beneath the meter, you'll find the channel status. Here, model shows the device's model number, server name is a customizable friendly name that you can set in the Options tab, and channel status indicates whether it is enabled or disabled, which can be adjusted in the Options menu. Below the status, there is an independent audio input gain for each selected channel. Set the gain on your source to bring the signal close to 0 dB. Then, check on the WaveCAST server for any necessary adjustments, though they are often not required. Below the audio input gain, there is an option to select the audio input sources. This field offers 3 to 4 choices depending upon whether you have the Dante model. The first option is a 400 Hz test tone, typically used for testing when an audio source isn't available. The following choices are for balanced and unbalanced inputs, suitable for professional and consumer audio sources respectively. Lastly, if equipped, the Dante option allows for the reception of up to 8 digital signals. Next, you'll encounter the predefined equalizer audio presets, which offers choices such as voice, music, hearing assistance, or a custom option featuring low-pass and high-pass filters, with the possibility to apply compression as necessary. We generally advise conducting most of your audio sculpting through an external DSP or mixer. Bearing this in mind, I recommend using the custom setting the low-pass filter at 20 kHz and the high-pass filter at 31 Hz. The preset voice optimizes for speech and a high-pass filter at 125 Hz, a low-pass filter at 6.3 kHz, and no compression. The music setting applies a high-pass filter at 31 Hz, a low-pass filter at 16 kHz, and no compression, suitable for musical content. The Hearing Assist preset compresses the audio at 2:1, smoothing out the variations between loud and soft voices. Bearing this in mind, I recommend using the custom setting the low-pass filter at 20 kHz and the high-pass filter at 31 Hz. Please note, after making any adjustments, you must confirm and apply your changes by clicking the Submit button at the bottom of the page. Options tab. At the top, under the channel name, you can rename any of the 8 channels to a more user-friendly name of your choice. Make sure to select the correct channel you want to customize from the upper right corner. Beneath the channel name, you'll have the option to enable or disable audio for any of the available channels. In the Secure Mode section, you can enter a 6-digit PIN code to protect any of the available channels for enhanced security, which can be enabled or disabled at any time. In the next section, you can set a delay for each individual channel before resuming audio streaming. We recommend setting this delay to a minimum duration of 1 second. Finally, on this page, you have the option to direct multicast traffic. In most cases, we recommend not declaring a custom address. Here, you would need to click on the Submit and Reboot button for any changes to take effect. Please note that this is the only section on this page that requires a reboot, which will interrupt audio until the server is fully restored. The next tab we'll explore is the Upload Image tab. Here is where you can upload a custom image to personalize each channel. The image will appear to the left of the channel name in the WaveCAST app. If the image is left as the default, the Williams AV logo will show next to each channel. Note, you must submit the image for it to take effect. The image will appear in the app after the app refreshes. Server Settings tab. Max servers on subnet. The maximum number of devices allowed on the network can be adjusted here. This may be necessary if you have a mix of unicast and multicast devices. This setting must match on all multicast devices on the same network, or the devices will throw an error and be unable to stream. If unicast devices are included on the network, the max servers on subnet setting on multicast devices must be set to 4. If only multicast devices are included, the maximum can be set to 4 or 8, as long as the max servers on subnet settings is the same on all devices. If the settings are mismatched, the server will be unable to stream audio and will throw an incompatible server error. Devices that are missing this feature may need their firmware updated. Network compensation buffer. The WaveCAST unit has a variable buffer. This can be used if there are issues with latency or audio dropouts. Less buffering equals lower latency and more dropouts. More buffering equals more latency and less dropouts. This is the trade-off. The idea is we want to hit the sweet spot between as few dropouts as possible with the lowest latency. Screen lock. This locks out the front panel so no one can make changes. When the front panel is locked, changes can still be made through the web UI. Note, for any of these changes to take effect, they will need to be submitted with the red Submit button. Server description and DHCP hostname. This names the device as it will be seen in the router or network management console. DHCP or static selection. The unit ships in DHCP mode for ease of connecting and getting into this web UI for initial configuration. However, many times it is desired to have the unit set at a static IP address. This is where that gets set. Also note the MAC address is displayed here. TTL. TTL stands for time to live. This sets how many switch hops are allowed before the WaveCAST packet expires. Typically, it's advised to keep physical switch hops to a minimum if possible, so this number can be set as low as possible. More switch hops equals more latency. Note, for any of these changes to take effect, they will need to be submitted with the red Submit and Reboot button on the bottom. The unit will repower itself. Admin tab. Under Change Password is where you can change the login for the unit. If this username and password is forgotten, the unit will need to have a file system reset performed to default it to admin. Once you have typed in the fields as desired, click Set Password to effect the changes. Under Additional Functions, we can reboot the unit. This recycles power, restarting the unit. We can also default the unit to factory by clicking on Limited Restore Defaults. This returns all settings to the factory defaults with the exception of DHCP or static address mode and a static IP address if one was originally specified. Note also an error log can be downloaded here. This can aid in troubleshooting or can be sent to the technical services team for support in troubleshooting. Under System Update, we can verify the current version of firmware that is installed. We can also upgrade firmware here. To do this, navigate to the Williams AV website using the link provided and find the firmware download for the WaveCAST 8. We'd like to thank you again for choosing Williams AV as your listening solution. If you have any questions, please visit our website to submit a support form or email us at techservices@williamsav.com.